Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on the tourism file as Egypt preps itself for the winter season, which is mainly for the Sinai Peninsula, and regarding what's going on the Rafah border crossing, what's taking place in Gaza. We're going to be looking at the prospects of the tourism sector in Sinai for the winter season, and we're also going to be focusing on the developmental projects taking place within the peninsula. But before we do that, let's take a quick look on some of the main stories making the news today. And we'll start off with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who received the CIA Director William Burns today. Presidential spokesman Ahmed said the meeting confirmed the strength of the strategic partnership between Egypt and the United States. The meeting stressed the pivotal role played by Egypt in maintaining security and stability in the Middle East, in addition to affirming mutual keenness to enhance the solid cooperation between the two countries in various fields. The two countries highlighted cooperation of their intelligence systems to support efforts to restore stability in the region and confront the multiple challenges in this regard. The meeting also witnessed discussions of a number of international and regional efforts of common interest, especially the Israeli military escalation in the Gaza Strip. President al-Sisi reiterated the constant Egyptian stance and the necessity of an immediate ceasefire to protect civilians, in addition to facilitate access of humanitarian aid. Also today, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a call from a member of the Presidential Council of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the upcoming head of the council, Denis Beširović. Presidential spokesman Ahmed said the telephone conversation tackled means of fostering bilateral ties in various domains, notably in the fields of tourism, culture and trade, in addition to training and building capability sectors. The two sides also exchanged views regarding the latest developments in Gaza, with President al-Sisi and Beširović agreeing on the significance of intensifying regional and international efforts, which are aimed at ceasing fire, protecting civilians and providing a safe entry for humanitarian aid to the besieged enclave without any obstacles. They called on pushing forward the Middle East peace process and realizing a just and permanent settlement for the Palestinian cause, which depends on a two-state solution. And Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry renewed Cairo's firm stance in defending the rights of the Palestinian people until the establishment of their independent territory-connected, survivable state with East Jerusalem as its capital. He was speaking during a meeting with UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk in Cairo on Tuesday. During the meeting, Shoukry reviewed the Egyptian moves and efforts to reach a ceasefire and allow humanitarian aid for Gaza residents. He stressed on the need for international partners to shoulder the responsibility of putting an end to the crisis as soon as possible. For his part, the UN humanitarian chief said he values the Egyptian efforts to contain the crisis. He thanked the Egyptian government for facilitating his mission and enabling him to visit the Rafah border crossing. And he said joint coordination between the Egyptian side and the UN will continue in order to ease the crisis in Gaza. Turk will visit Ahmed on Thursday and has also sought access to the occupied West Bank and Gaza. These were some of the main stories making the news today, but now turning our attention to tonight's topic of discussion, and we're going to be taking a look at Egypt really putting the Sinai Peninsula on the map for comprehensive and sustainable development. Let's check it out and we'll be right back.
The state has exerted tremendous efforts to develop Sinai through putting it on the map of comprehensive and sustainable development and laying down security and stability around it, in addition to eradicating terrorism within the framework of ongoing efforts of comprehensive and sustainable development under the rubric Development in Northern Sinai Management and Challenges. In this respect, the state has worked on developing North Sinai by putting a strategic plan and depending on effective tools to render the development efforts successful in a way to suit the geographic importance and demographic nature of the governorate. There are currently development efforts being exerted within 9 years in the different sectors in Sinai, with a volume of investment amounting to more than 600 billion Egyptian pounds. The state is keen on perfectly utilizing the governorate's resources, taking into consideration that imposing security and stability will not be completed without development. A big change has taken place in the governorate as well as stability of security conditions. This in addition to expanding health and education services, sports centers and internet as well as better infrastructure. Efforts are underway to develop Arish Port that was implemented with a cost of 4 billion Egyptian pounds. Minister of Tourism and Antiquities Ahmed chaired a meeting of the Board of Directors of the Egyptian General Authority for Tourism Promotion at the ministry's headquarters at the new administrative capital. During the meeting, he reviewed the most prominent developments currently witnessed by the tourism industry in Egypt, as well as some procedures and promotion and activation plans the ministry is pursuing during the upcoming period. He pointed to the 3 committees that are recently formed to contribute to achieving this, including an internal audit and governance committee in full from the Egyptian General Authority for Tourism Promotion. Some proposals are also presented to discuss the authority, which is scheduled to implement during the coming period to promote tourism for Egyptian touristic destinations, including joint promotional campaigns and targeted tourism, marketing with international professional partners. This plus the authority's participation in a number of international tourism exhibitions during the coming months. This comes in light of the authority's promotional strategy to contribute to creating more media and promotional momentum about Egyptian touristic destinations.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And we're joined here tonight in the studio by Mr. Ahmed Badr, the tourism expert. Mr. Badr, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening to you and all the audience.
Good evening, sir. Mr. Badr, now, Egypt's tourism sector is one of, the winter season especially is synonymous with the Sinai Peninsula, and Egypt is known for its very vibrant tourism sector and activities throughout the whole year. Now, keeping in mind what's taking place in Gaza, how much is the winter season being affected, especially in Sinai's cities such as Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Nuweiba? I mean, the first half, Egypt received about 7 million tourists. Everybody expected by the end of 2023 it might be even 15, which would surpass the 14.2 or 14.3 million tourists in 2010.
Yes.
Is this still feasible?
Unfortunately, I have to say no. Before what's going on in Gaza, literally, if you want to book a room, it was almost impossible anywhere. Yeah, in Sinai, in the Red Sea, in Cairo, in Upper Egypt, everywhere. It was booked through next April or even May. Now with what's going on there, and of course the media internationally and how they are taking it and how they are showing it, we lost so much bookings, especially from North America, because people are afraid of what they don't know, and they're afraid because of what they see and what the media is showing them. So they think the war is in Egypt, and Egypt is in Gaza, and Gaza is in, it's that...
confusing for them.
Exactly, yes. We have lost so much bookings. I would say about average of 40% from all over the markets. Still some markets working, especially the B and C classes. A class is affected badly because A class, most of them are, the people who are, they have money. So they would say, I can lose the money, but safety is priority. And with all the travel advisories from many countries, especially to Sinai. So the U.S. travel advisory to Egypt hasn't been changed, but they put Sharm el-Sheikh on red zone. So Sinai, Sharm el-Sheikh, Nuweiba, Dahab, Antaba affected very, very badly. Especially so many of their clients, they come from Palestine. So definitely no travelers from this place anymore. So I don't think we will reach the 15 million. I think maybe we will hit like around 12 or 13 maximum because of all these booking cancellations. Hopefully things will calm down and will be ceasefire and things will come again. So we'll have bookings back. Until this moment,
yes,
it's just nothing to be done.
Well, Egypt and the tourism sector in specific has been hard hit way too many times over the past, since 2011. So we do, and for different reasons. For 2011, there was a revolution during the coronavirus pandemic, during the war on extremism and terrorism within the Sinai Peninsula. So we've been hard hit, the tourism sector in specific, so many times, and we've been trying to deal and have different measures and strategies to try and keep it afloat, keep the sector afloat. So can we actually make use of previous experiences in trying to maintain the activities within the tourism sector, especially that it's a main source of foreign currency as well?
Well, tourism is affected and controlled by politics and of course media, and politics controlled media and tourism. Let me put it in a very, very easy way. If they like you, they will not talk about you. So people will not know what's going on, so they will think it's safe and they will travel. If they don't like you, they will put you on front pages all over all the time. So people will think you have war, which is not the truth. So they won't travel because, at the end, tourism is people traveling to enjoy themselves. So if you see a place, even if you in your own country, if you see a place that is having so much trouble, you'll not travel. That's easy. So tourism is affected really hard since even before 2011, way before 2011. Every now and then we have drawbacks, whether it's because of war against terrorism or things you don't have any hand in them, like the corona pandemic and the global recession back in 2008 or domestic turbulences. So every now and then we have something.
Or the Russia-Ukraine conflict, since we get a lot of tourists from there.
Exactly, yes. So most of them are things that we don't have anything to do with it. It's not our problem, but it affects us. One of the things is marketing still the best way to show the real picture. Marketing here, I don't mean marketing campaigns by the government or by the Ministry of Tourism, which is doing a good job and hard efforts to maintain and even have more flow of the travelers. But here I mean the travelers themselves. Make use of the travelers on the ground here. Now, through their connections, through their social media, they can give the right picture to their people from their countries. Last week I had a group of almost 40 guests from the United States. They came with a lady that I know for 20 years. That was her 16th visit to Egypt. It's that much she loves Egypt and she loves the Egyptians. So that she wanted to share her experiences and dreams, and brought her family and friends to Egypt to see Egypt and to see the Egyptians and to show them how great Egypt is and how safe Egypt is. This lady, she came to Egypt in April 2011, and you know April 2011, how was Egypt? But she came and she was so very, very safe, and she was walking around and she did everything, and she said, I felt so safe. So she convinced them to come. Few canceled out of fear, extreme fear, but the rest came, and they stayed for almost 10 days. We had a cruise in Cairo, I mean. They enjoyed every minute of their time here in Egypt. They had a great experience, and the best thing is how they promoted Egypt on their social media pages.
Yes.
Pictures and videos and live videos all over, all the time. So the impact for that, they even posted on some of the travelers travel groups in the US. So people there were like, okay, things are safe. So what are we seeing on the media? And they replied, we never felt safer than here. I mean, they didn't just go to the sites, touristic sites. They walked in the streets of Cairo, in Zamalek, in downtown. They came to Tahrir Square. They walked around the streets in Luxor and Aswan, and they went to cafes and to churches, and it was perfectly safe.
Yes.
And so this is an experience that we need to make use of, not just with this group, but with every single traveler to Egypt. And I started to see in some of the travelers group abroad, people are posting from Egypt and they say, come on, it's so safe, it's nothing here. This war is hundreds of miles away from here. We never felt safer in our lives. So this, and the good thing is it's coming from normal people. You know, it's not like...
Not celebrities.
Not celebrities that you can say Egypt paid them, or not from papers or from media channels that you can say, okay, Egypt paid them. Egypt will not pay for thousands of travelers to say it's safe.
Yes.
So I think this will be the main thing, and definitely this will be by taking care of every and each traveler to Egypt in this time and all the times, having Wi-Fi everywhere in all touristic places, so they can go live. Even give the travelers a SIM card so they can go live from the streets. You know, just you can go live from the hotel, because this is where the Wi-Fi is. But then that's the hotel. I want to show them the streets. I want to show them the people. I want to show them if they go walking and sitting in restaurants or cafes. So this is what we need to show the world.
Well, I mean, it might not be, I mean, the tourism sector might not be as hard hit as it was during the corona pandemic.
Of course not.
But what can the actual hotel business and the tourism private sector do to try and alleviate the cancellations that are taking place? Can they lower certain prices? Can the Ministry of Tourism have some sort of a ceiling or a cap that they can't really charge above, or is it a decision that would be decided by the hotels and the private sector? I mean, what can be done to try and safeguard what already is, what's remaining, and maybe even try and encourage domestic tourism? The Egyptians traveling around, so we lower more prices, because that's immediately the first thing anyone can think of.
Exactly. Well, this is, well, to lower the prices, that's a decision for each hotel and each agency to decide, and each hotel, they have their own limits to lower their prices. Depends on their costs and their and the demand on them, and so many things. But it will be one of the ways to attract more tourists until things are back to normal. Because for some of the clients, even if you lower the prices, they will not still come, because they would think it's not safe, and I will not risk myself and go to this area. For some others, it will be a chance to travel to Egypt with reduced prices. It's a chance for them. So this might be the kind of travelers we will look for the next, I don't know how much time, but I would say at least for the next 2-3 months, at least.
What about Egyptian tourists? I mean, domestic tourists, Egyptians know how safe Sinai is, probably one of the safest places around Egypt as well.
It is.
So do you think that they might take this as an opportunity? There is some vacancy, maybe some prices would be lower, so they would be more encouraged?
Definitely, yes. The hotels in Sharm el-Sheikh and Sinai in general started to lower their prices, because again, it's a matter of supply and demand. So the demand is low, so definitely the prices will go lower. The problem is this time of the year is not a vacation for Egyptians. We still have the time with the mid-year vacation still in January, but still you can have some, especially the young people and the families who are they don't have kids in schools, or still have some clientele.
There's Christmas and New Year's. I mean, there are some opportunities.
And expats also in Egypt. That's another segment. So yes, the hotels, they started to do this, but still maybe to go there it's a bit expensive, especially if you're flying. Tickets prices are really high, so that needs to be also reconsidered and revisited for Egyptians and for everybody, to look again at the prices of the flights.
So this would be up for the up to the Ministry of Civil Aviation.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because so many people they prefer to fly, especially if they're going to Sharm. They prefer to fly because They might, because of the crossing to Sinai, going and back takes time, and crossing the tunnels with all the checkpoints, which is good. I don't have anything about it, but it takes time. Sometimes it takes you like 2-3 hours just to cross. So people would say, I would rather fly, but then they find flights too expensive, so they change their destination to some other destinations. But Sharm el-Sheikh, it needs that, especially Sinai, because it's really badly affected. Hurghada and Marsa Alam and the Red Sea resorts, they're affected, but not as bad as Sinai resorts, of course.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just working on strengthening and refreshing the tourism sector during these times, but also there's a lot of developmental work and about 1,000 developmental projects taking place within northern Sinai and the Sinai Peninsula as a whole. Over 600 billion Egyptian pounds invested in the developmental projects, as we've seen by the visit of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli recently there. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli launched the government's second phase for the development of North Sinai last week. During his visit to the city of Arish, Madbouli stressed Egypt to their own use. Prime Minister underscored the importance of the peninsula to Egypt's national identity. He said Egypt is prepared to expend millions of lives to protect this precious region of Egypt, adding that all Egyptians have grown up learning about the importance of Sinai. Historically, it has always been a region used by foreign entities to attack Egypt, whether it was the Hyksos, the Romans or Israel. He said plans by past governments to develop the military-sensitive North Sinai province, which borders the Gaza Strip and Israel, has always been limited in scope of implementation. Madbouli noted President Sisi's plan for the Sinai's north and south provinces, which has already cost 600 billion Egyptian pounds. North Sinai alone has been allocated 290 billion Egyptian pounds to implement more than 1,000 projects. He said the first phase, which included the construction of a mega port in Arish, a road network to connect North Sinai with the rest of the country, and an economic zone on the Egyptian side of the Gazan city of Rafah. Madbouli added the first phase was mainly building the infrastructure needed to bring about real change in the area. He said 363 billion Egyptian pounds has been allocated to implement 302 projects in the second stage of development, of which 115 billion Egyptian pounds will be spent to build new housing units and communities in North Sinai, whilst 2.5 billion Egyptian pounds will be used to construct 13 new tourist projects. The second phase is to feature residential units, schools and healthcare facilities, and will take half the time it took to complete the first phase. According to Madbouli, the second stage of development in Sinai also includes cultivating 290,000 fidans in the north and center of the peninsula, building a railway line that will terminate at Taba, and spending 20 billion Egyptian pounds to turn Arish port and airport into an international logistics and trade hub. He also promised compensation to be paid to North Sinai residents who lost homes and land in any project. Madbouli said the visit, during which he reviewed a number of development topics, was intended to underline the centrality of Sinai to Egypt's national security. He also attended a ceremony alongside tribal leaders, cabinet ministers, politicians, members of parliament, actors and media professionals at the headquarters of the Battalion 101, a military unit which fought to rid the peninsula of terrorist organizations and extremist groups. Madbouli also visited the Rafah border crossing, where he saw dozens of trucks passing into Gaza to deliver humanitarian supplies, and laid the foundation stone for a number of new housing communities in northern Sinai.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're joined now over the phone by His Excellency Dr. Mungi Badr, the Minister, Plenipotentiary and board member of the Egypt-UN Association. Dr. Badr, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, hearing you. How are you?
I'm very well, Dr. Mungi. Now, first off, the developmental projects taking place within the Sinai Peninsula, how much of a statement was it that Prime Minister Madbouli actually, when they held the press conference with many public figures, international journalists, also leaders of the Sinai tribes? So what sort of a political message does it send?
In fact, Sinai, I wanted to summarize my intervention with you in 4 points. Number one, Sinai, it's the most important area for Egypt. It has many resources, also white sand and also black sand, manganese, and many materials which we use in normal industry and also in high-tech industry, especially chips for computers and cars and even for planes. This number one. Number two, His Excellency Prime Minister, when he was there since around 1 week ago, I think last Tuesday, he announced that Egypt will inject new investments, more than 400 billion Egyptian pound. This, it will help to conclude comprehensive development and also to help people and all people coming from Delta and the south of Egypt. The third point, which I would like to mention, it's a matter of constructions of industrial cities to use or to explore all kind of sand in Egypt. White sand, black sand, which use in crystals and the kaolin, and also used in glasses, all kind of glasses we can use white sand. Can you imagine that white sand in Sinai, the purity, it's 99%, the most purity sand all over the world. Also, we can use phosphates covered and also even gold. There is gold in Sinai. In fact, Egypt succeeded to change life in Sinai. And also our government succeeded to put comprehensive development for Sinai. In the same times to spread security and stability in Sinai. The fourth point, which I would like to mention to you, that we should encourage a private sector. It's a private sector at the end of the day. And also we want to attract for investment, even local investment or Arab investment or foreign investment to invest in Sinai. And we issue a lot of regulations and decrees to facilitate the mission of business people to come to Sinai and to invest in Sinai. Yes. In fact, also, we would like to enlarge the scope of development in Sinai, not only industry, but also agriculture. Don't forget that Salam Canal, yes, which will irrigate more than 400 hectares in Sinai. And we used to mention that if you would like to have stability in area, you should encourage agriculture. Mm-hmm. So agriculture create stability and industry create wealth. So both of them we can have very, very active society in Sinai.
Yes. Well, there have been many plans and projects, developmental ones, within the Sinai Peninsula over the past few years, but this seems it's looked at as a much bigger step towards the development projects in Sinai. Do you also feel that this would be an encouragement for people moving from densely populated cities around the country, moving to Sinai, since it seems that whoever's going to go there first, it is really a great opportunity instead of waiting to see a full established developmental, developed sort of life there and try to jump on that bandwagon.
Excellent point, dear friend, because what I would like also to add to your viewers that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, it's already issued a decree not exporting any raw materials anymore. Because of that, we create a lot of industries in Sinai and also in south of Egypt. Because we want to enlarge or to increase the added value for any product exporting from Egypt. Also for tourism. We have the best beaches all over the world. And also we would like to encourage to increase the volume of hotels, because now we expect more than 30 million tourists in coming 5 years. 2028, we expect 30 million tourists. So we should build our home, and we should enlarge the capacity of hotels and the motels also, if we have motels. So that's why all these industries will attract a lot of youth, a lot of tonnage. So this will decrease the unemployment rate, and also will help to have many cities north to explore what we have, our wealth on or in our land. Also, I want to mention that it's the strategic policies. It's not a matter of economy or policy only. It's the strategic. As you see now, that around us, north, south, east, west, a lot of conflict. So that's why Sinai, we need to inject a lot of population in Sinai.
Yes, and that's why, Dr. Mungi, this is very much also a political decision to really develop the peninsula. His Excellency Dr. Mungi Badr, the Minister, Plenipotentiary and Board Member of the Egypt-UN Association, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Now, Mr. Badr, looking at, I mean, we're running out of time, so looking at the Sinai Peninsula and the future for the touristic cities there, Sharm el-Sheikh has been established now and known for somehow, because now being green is the name of the game, especially for the tourism industry.
Yes, I believe we can make use of this time to turn these cities, rest of the cities, to green cities and hotels. Hotels now, they are, so many hotels, they are doing this. They are turning to green hotels because, as you said, this is the name of the game. Everybody's looking for green hotels and green tourism, and for the environment. And we're all hit, or the whole world was hit by the global change of climate. Especially last summer we all witnessed that in Egypt, in Europe, in America, everywhere. It was either so dry or too much rain that sometimes it was floods, not just normal rain. So it's, and until now we're at the beginning of November and still a little bit hotter than it's usual here in Egypt. So yes, why not we make use of this time when it's not 100%, so we can start to turn to green energy, green everything, and start to implement some policies for the hotels and encourage them, and try to make it easier for them. I mean, to lower the cost of turning
Yes.
green. So because in the future it will attract
Bigger
more,
numbers.
bigger numbers, yes. So yes, why not? This will be great, especially where I know, especially in energy, we are going to
Yes.
the green hydrogen. I
Green
think,
hydrogen and ammonia.
and ammonia,
Green
yes,
ammonia.
and all the power fields and the power
Yes.
stations, solar stations, and so these things are very good
Yes.
to use to promote Egyptian tourism.
Yes, definitely.
Exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Egyptian tourism sector has been hit a few times before, but we've always come out of it in flying colors, and hopefully this will be the case as well. Unfortunately, that's all the time this time around for this edition of the Daily Debate. Before we go, I'd like to thank my guest, Mr. Ahmed Badr, the tourism expert. Mr. Badr, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much. And one last thing to say, tourism to Egypt, it will never die. It gets sick, but it will never die.
Yes.
Because we have engraves on some of our touristic attractions in the temples that are more than 2,000 years ago from tourists from Rome, from ancient Greek, from ancient Rome. They came and they said, we traveled to Egypt to see its greatness.
Yes.
So it will never die.
Yes, well, it's written in the stars and on the walls as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.